Welcome back to the channel. The project for Bad Boy today is this 2012 Kia Sorento. It's a 3.5 liter V6, and I'm changing out the spark plugs at 106,000 miles. That's what the manual calls for. There are not any real good videos on YouTube that I could find explaining exactly what you have to take off to get the upper intake off, because that's part of the process here. As you can see down here, I took off the airbox lid and the boot for the airbox that goes to the throttle body. Go ahead and take those off and anything attached to them, which includes one little sensor. Get that out of the way. You don't have to take the whole airbox off, as you see right here. I've already replaced the plugs, but as I'm putting it back together, I want to show you what you need to take off. Next, I moved over to the throttle body. There are 3 bolts. There they are up here. 3 bolts that hold the throttle body, and then there's a big one right there to hold a bracket on the bottom side of the throttle body. That's all I did. I didn't take it out of the vehicle. As you see here, it's still, you can get the intake off without removing that. I had to remove this air line here. I'm sorry, this vacuum line. Anything attached to this upper intake you want to take off, but be careful now. You may not have to take off everything, because you can pull this stuff back out of the way and get to what you need to get to your fasteners, and also to allow the intake to come off. But the big thing is I didn't know which bolts to take out, what actually holds the intake on. But first of all, this device right here, which is wiring for the fuel injectors and I think the spark plugs, it's attached to the upper intake. Those 2 bolts right there. You have to take that off and just pull this back out of the way. But the bolts actually holding the intake on are these 2 right here. 1, 2. Then there are, if I can get over here, there is I can't even see it myself right now. There's a nut. Can't find it in the camera here. There's a nut down in here. There it is. There's a nut down there on each end of this intake. 1 nut on a stud. That's on each end. So now, and then there are 3 bolts. You see one of the bolts right here. There are 3 of those across the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the those bolts and the 2 nuts. 1 nut on each end. Now that sounds kind of confusing. There's 7 fasteners that actually hold the intake on there. Now you're going to have to disconnect some other stuff like I did over here. I disconnected a vacuum line, a couple vacuum lines. I had to unbolt this little electrical sensor of some sort just to get it off the intake. But now all this other stuff down here, these wires, I didn't have to mess with any of that. And then when you move around to the back of the engine, see here, you can see right there, this is some kind of big hose attaches to the back of the intake. And the one that I didn't see, that nobody told me about, is a big bolt. Let me find it right here. Right here. Big bolt that hooks to a bracket on the back side of the intake, on the passenger side. That's all that's holding it on there. And once you disconnect all those fasteners, just pull it off. It'll lift right up. And I tried to take off as little as possible. I heard some people saying they disconnected some kind of coolant line to the throttle body. I've never heard anything like that. You don't have to do all that. Hope that made sense. This is a brief overview. And of course, you see the plugs. You know, I'm not going to tell you how to do that. If you don't know how to take out a spark plug, you probably shouldn't be attempting this in the first place. But it is a little bugaboo to get these connectors off your, what is that? Your coil pack here. You pull the black, close there. Just get you a screwdriver and pull that black lock out of the way and press down on that tab, and you'll be able to disconnect that connector. They're kind of stubborn, but they will come off. And when you're backing off your, removing your spark plugs, go easy. Go easy. You don't want to strip out these aluminum heads. And one other thing, yeah, this is real big. Couldn't find anywhere. What type of spark plug does it take? Well, laser iridium. Let me find one of the old ones. That's what I had to do. I just took out an old spark plug originally to find out what it is. NGKIRSILZKR 7B. You see that right there. Just pull out one of these front spark plugs, because I couldn't find it in the manual anywhere. Go ahead and tell you, these spark plugs are about $15 a piece or higher at your local auto parts store. I bought them on Amazon for about $11 a piece. Very expensive plugs. Good luck. Thanks for watching.